Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Today's video is another cozy vlog, so of course we're starting off with a shot of Marley, because what's cozier than a cat? So we were having some of our tofu kale Caesars again that we were eating in the last video. I usually just eat the same thing for a full week. And then we've got more cozy cat shots. So that was lunchtime, and I wasn't really feeling the greatest this day. I thought I might feel better after I had some lunch, but I think I was up for around another hour or so, and then I just really decided that I should probably just lay down. Sometimes I just try to fight it if I'm not feeling well, but usually it doesn't work out in my favor. So I decided to go upstairs and lay down with Marley and just watch, I think I just watched some General Hospital, and I did end up feeling better, thankfully. I think I ended up falling asleep at some point for a little while, but when I woke up, Marley was curled up in the sun at the bottom of the bed, which was so cute. So she just stayed there with me. But it was a little bit of a migraine. It wasn't like full blown, but I ended up feeling better when I woke up. But I did not feel like making dinner, so John went and got some veggie burgers from this place that had just opened up. It closes for the winter. That's like relatively close to us, so that was really great. I think I ended up just going to bed relatively early on that night, but next morning I was having some cuddles with Marley. It's so cute when she's really sleepy. But it looked like a really beautiful day outside, which was right up my alley. So I felt super motivated to get some things done on this day, like wash and hang the sheets out on the line. But I didn't want to disturb Marley when she's sleeping on the bed like that, so I usually just let her sleep, and then when she gets up, I take that opportunity to either make the bed or take the sheets off and wash them. But I just feel bad because she's old and she looks comfy, so I didn't want to disturb her. But eventually she did get up, and I seized the opportunity to take all the sheets off and the blankets and everything and wash them. I was gonna wait until those sheets were dry on the line and then make the bed with them, but I ended up just putting the spare set on so that I could just have the bed completely made and everything. That way, if Marley wanted to go back on the bed, she could. After I put the laundry in the basement, I had this area under the stairs where I keep different random stuff, and I thought that I had some like gardening things under there, so I went looking, and I did find these cardboard planters for starting seeds, and then I also found this container with all of the seeds that I had, because I couldn't remember like what I had, so I figured I would take a look at what I had and then maybe make a plan about what I should plant. So I just put them all out to make it easier to show you, but I did actually have way more than I thought I did. I definitely really want to have like a little herb garden in my kitchen. I feel like I would really enjoy that a lot because I love cooking. So there was a few in here that didn't have, I kept the packages, but the seeds weren't in there. So I just kind of thought, well, these are the ones I could rebuy this year if I wanted to, but I don't know. I'm still just really overwhelmed by it, so yeah, I don't know how it's gonna go. I still actually haven't planted anything yet because that's how overwhelmed I am by it, but I'm hoping that I do that in May. But on the back of them, it tells you like when you should have started them, and I think this is the part where I get really overwhelmed because I probably should have already started them inside like weeks ago, but I don't know. I'm gonna figure it out, and maybe I'll just try to grow a few things that's not too late. I don't know. It's still cold, like we still get frost in the morning here, so even though it's May, so I don't know. I do have some flowers that I could plant, and obviously like I don't think you start those inside. I think you just plant them outside, so I would have to wait until there's no frost. But the only thing I really know is that you plant tulips in the fall, and I really want to do that this year because I love tulips, and yeah, so I'm going to try to make a plan to do that so that I'll have tulips next spring. So after that, I decided to do a little bit of food prep, and I found some of this gluten-free bread in the freezer, so I took that out because I was going to make myself some tofu egg salad to have for lunches. I pretty much have been having this for lunch for weeks now. I will get sick of it, but as of right now, I'm not sick of it, and it's like really high protein, so it's nice. I also decided to make another batch of cinnamon rolls, so I got that started. And I also made some more of the dip that I made from the vintage video. I think I've made it every single week since I made that video. But I found some yogurt in the fridge with just a little bit left in it, and I thought I should get that used up. So instead of using sour cream, I just substituted the yogurt, which I do quite a bit when I make dip. Just makes it a little healthier. And it still tastes good, so I did that. It turned out great. And then for lunch, I was making this HelloFresh meal. This ended up being like one of my favorite of all time HelloFresh meals. It was so good. So we just had that. We've been eating like a bigger meal at lunchtime and then just something smaller at night. So had that. So great. I can't wait to make it again, actually. So had that, did the dishes, and then I checked my cinnamon rolls were not, like, they had been sitting for a while and they weren't really getting any bigger, so I was a little worried. But then a little while later, I looked at them and they had gotten a little bit bigger. Not as good as the first time I made them, but the yeast is old, so I'm surprised it's working at all. Anyway, it's almost gone, so I'm gonna get some fresh yeast soon. But John went to the store and got some groceries, so I got some just eggs. I wanted to make some brunch over the weekend, and he also got these plain chips, and he got himself some bread because we just had the gluten-free bread in the house. So he got some of the Silver Hills, which is really good, actually. And then I just needed some produce, so I needed some celery, some cucumber. I think there was a red onion. I got some radishes, and I think I got some baby carrots just to have with the dip. And I needed celery and onion for the egg salad. And then he got a bag of fries. And then in the other bag, it's funny because a few days earlier I had been talking about lime soda. I was like, oh, I could go for some lime soda. And I didn't ask him to get it, but I guess he just thought about that while he was in the store. So he picked up this. It's not like, this is like our store brand version of like I think it's Crush that makes it, but we were talking about it like from childhood. And it was really good. So then he also got some bacon for the brunch, and then I asked him to get some breakfast sausages too, and then apparently they had buy two get one free, so he got 2 packs of these just regular sausages along with the breakfast sausages. So that was a pretty good deal because they're not exactly cheap. They're usually like $10 a pack, so it's a pretty decent size savings. And then I'd asked him to get some chicken nuggets because that's like my comfort meal. So I was joking with him because he got the expensive kind. I was like, ooh, we get the expensive chicken nuggets. But he said they were actually on sale. So I think they're normally like $10 and they were on for $7. So these are really, really good, but I wouldn't buy them that much just because of the cost difference. And so then the cinnamon rolls were done, which they've been so good. So good. So I put some cream cheese frosting on those and let them cool. And then John and I were watching a Bond movie. So we've finally finished the like 90s ones. We watched the last one on that day, I think. So I was having some of the lime pop, and then I was having some of the dip that I made with the plain ruffled chips. Personally, I feel like I will probably never watch any of these Bond movies again, aside from like the 60s ones that I liked, but I don't know, they're pretty cheesy. I'm curious to see how the newer ones are. But John was having some of this jalapeno cheddar popcorn we had found like the week prior or something, and then Marley thought that he was getting treats for her. It must have been the sound of the bag. So She came running in all excited, so it's kind of dark, but John, we just keep treats down there for her for that reason, so John was giving her some treats so that she would be happy and had her own little movie snack. I think we might have watched 2 of the Bond movies on this day, actually, because now Marley and I are going to bed. John usually stays up later on the weekends, but I just still have to go to bed at the same time because I will wake up at 4 o'clock no matter what time I go to bed. So if I stayed up until 12, I would still wake up at 4. So I just try to just stay on that schedule so that I reduce the risk of feeling like crap. So Riley was up here with me, super excited. She's always very excited for bedtime because she gets lots of cuddles before I go to sleep. So very cute. She doesn't do this very often, but sometimes she'll get up on my lap or up on my legs. So it's always cute when she does it. She's more of like a, you can pet me, but I don't want to be on you kind of cat. So in the morning, I usually just drink my coffee up here with her. I mentioned a bunch of times before. Sometimes I'll turn on the salt lamp. It's a nice glow because it's usually pitch dark when I wake up. So we're just kind of hanging out. Then later, I just happened to come upstairs and I saw her all curled up like this, so I just had to film it. I'm glad that you guys enjoy seeing Marley as much as you do, because I put so many clips of her, but honestly, I only show the smallest fraction of the actual footage I have of her on my phone. It looked like it was going to be a nice-ish day, but it also looked like it could be not a nice day. I think it was supposed to be a nice day. So it's Saturday morning, I believe, or maybe Sunday morning, and I'm making brunch for us. So my dad actually used to make brunch every single weekend when I was growing up, and so every time we don't do it every weekend, but probably maybe 2 times a month. But I always think about that when I was growing up. It was very exciting. This is also like one of my comfort meals. I'd like to have it for dinner sometimes. I haven't done it for a long time, but I'm grateful that there are like vegan substitutes that I can use to make it. But we took our breakfast downstairs and watched a movie. I think we were watching like Ice Age movies every like Sunday or second Sunday. We'll watch a movie like that. So, and then had an Amazon delivery. So pretty much all my Amazon deliveries are generally just stuff for Marley that I can't get here. So I got her some more cat treats because she's been getting them just basically nonstop. She gets these needles that for allergies, one of the side effects is increased appetite. So it like wears off eventually, but when she first gets it, that like first week, it's really intense. But I was really happy I found this tea that I love. I found it on clearance in the grocery store last year, and it's one of my favorite teas ever, but I could never find it after that. So I thought maybe I should just try looking on Amazon, and they had it, so I was very excited. It's very good. And so on this day, I decided to record all of my like crafting gardening books. So I did the crafting ones upstairs. So I did that, and then for dinner, I guess, might have been like sort of an afternoon meal, I don't remember. I just had some of those chicken nuggets that John got with some fries, and I had a bunch of laundry to fold and just miscellaneous things to do. So I just came up here in my office to do that. I think I was editing videos actually at the same time. It's just hanging out with Marley, which she loves. She basically just follows me around wherever I go nowadays, because John's been gone so much that she's still like feeling nervous around him. So I decided to finish doing the prep that I had started. So I was cutting up the vegetables, but John actually was not feeling well. This was the next day. He said his stomach wasn't feeling great, so I decided to make him some soup, like just broth and noodles, and then I think I put onion and celery, but it was pretty like basic, and that way, I don't know, when you're feeling sick, sometimes soup is the only thing that really tastes good, so I made that for him. And then I cleaned up the kitchen after that. I feel like I do dishes a million times a day. And then got all my vegetables cut up and prepped. And then I think it was around lunchtime. So just made myself a sandwich, like a half sandwich with some raw vegetables and some of that dip. And then I just went in the dining room to eat. I almost never eat in here, so it was weird, but I just took it in here to eat because I wanted to make a to-do list of everything I wanted to get done for probably the rest of the week. And then, of course, we've got a shot of Marley being her cozy self. So the next day, John was feeling better, thankfully. So I was making us kind of our big meal at lunchtime. I was doing another HelloFresh meal. This one was really good too. I feel like I've never had a bad meal from them. Maybe one that I wasn't like super keen on, or like I wasn't excited to make again, but this one was really good and I'm excited to make this one again as well. But I made that for us. I was happy that John was feeling a bit better. I like that you can try things that you maybe wouldn't otherwise have. Like this one had bok choy in it, which I don't think I've ever really had before, but it was actually good, so I would probably buy it again. So then I went upstairs in my office with a cold brew, and I've been trying to I have a lot of videos on my phone that I filmed that I haven't either finished or I have, but I don't like them. But one of them is this Bizquick video. I found this Bizquick cookbook a year ago, I guess, maybe longer. But I filmed part of this video. I think I filmed 3 recipes from it a year ago, maybe even in 2022. I don't remember right now, but I was trying to think about whether or not I should just delete that footage or if I should film some more and make it a full video. So I did find a couple that I think look good. So I was trying to get all that organized, and I used these pads with days of the week to get all of that organized of what videos I should post and all that. It doesn't always stay, but and then I decided to make myself a mug brownie, except I made it in this Pyrex dish. I haven't had one in a long time, but it's pretty good. It tastes healthier though, because it is healthier. And I had a cup of that tea, which I was so excited to have. And I thrifted this Alice in Wonderland mug that looks really neat a few weeks ago, maybe months. I completely lose track of when I got things. But it's the first time I was using the mug, so I thought it would be the perfect tea mug. So I made that, turned out great. And I usually stop doing stuff and take a little break around 3-ish, maybe 2-ish. So it worked out perfect, the timing, that it was right at 3, which is when General Hospital comes on. So I just got all of that ready, went upstairs and watched General Hospital. When I turned the TV on, this woman who's a character on General Hospital, she was also, I think she played Will Smith's mom in Fresh Prince, but she was on, and she works in a hospital, in General Hospital, so I could hear her voice and see the image. But there was also a laugh track, which was so confusing for me. I'm like, what is going on? But I guess she's on a different show where plays a hospital, so I was so confused because obviously there isn't laugh tracks on a soap opera. So I was just like, wait, what's happening here? So anyway, I guess I just assumed I was turning the TV on and it was going to be on that channel, but I guess it was on a different channel. So anyway, I just record the episodes every day in case I don't watch them live. But yeah, I don't know. It was very weird. So the next day I was cleaning up the kitchen as always, but I had made a plan to kind of spring clean the dining room on this day. The dining room, there's not that much in there really, so it was not going to be like a super long process or anything. But there was a few things that I did want to take care of. I was debating whether or not I should put those candlesticks on top of that thing here, but this shelf, it's been sitting there since before Christmas, so that's why it looks dusty, but it broke. It also held all of my favorite vintage salt and pepper shakers, which all smashed on the floor. It was a great day. The shelf's been on the wall for years, and just one day it randomly fell, so it broke. And like it's the actual like nails themselves that were attached to the shelf like came out. It's the weirdest thing, but I don't know. Anyway, I just had left them there so I didn't lose them. But as much as I was pissed off at the shelf, I do love the shelf, so I'm keeping it, and I'm gonna super glue the piece that broke off back together. And it's, like I said, it's really dusty because it's just been sitting on the floor in the dining room since it happened. But I did keep all of the salt and pepper shakers in their million pieces as well because I couldn't bear to just throw them out. So they're just sitting in a box, and someday I will glue them together or attempt to see if I can glue them back together. But for now, I was just fixing the shelf on this day, but then I also wanted to go through what I call my vintage hoard, which is underneath the china cabinet there, and then also the vintage TV trays and stand that also got damaged in the shelf incident. The one of the wheels completely like shattered, so my plan is to take the rest of the wheels off and then it can just sit on the floor. I don't want to get rid of it because I love it. So I don't know. The way that I grew up is like you just fix the things that you have, and I guess we were a pretty like non-consumerist family. I don't know, but anyway, I glued the shelf back together once the glue was all perfectly good. I'm gonna clean it, but I also super glued the nail pieces back in, so I don't think that they will be able to fall. I'm gonna just leave it hanging on the wall for probably a couple of weeks before I even attempt to put anything on it, because I don't want that to happen again, but I think it should be pretty secure now that I've done that. So now it was time to show you my vintage hoard. So this one drawer we use for like reselling things, so I didn't need to do anything with that. The other side I just use for extra like silverware and serving things. But I sometimes like stuff other things in there, so I knew that it at least needed a good tidy. I have all these vintage napkins from like the 80s and 90s, like still new in the package, and I always think that I'll use them, or like maybe I'll use them in a video or something, but then I never end up doing it. So I think I might just try and sell them. Like somebody out there I'm sure would like to have them and use them, but I just keep extra silverware and different things in there. And then I also found this card with this punch recipe on it that I've been wanting to make, but I actually didn't realize the card, that's where it was. So, and then we also have these like cards with recipes for drinks on them, which I also think I'm going to use, but we actually never have. So I don't know what I'm going to do with those, but I have like, bigger like serving spoons and like a cake thing in there. And then just our old silverware and just some serving things. And I decided on this day that I should probably just go ahead and film all of my vintage serveware stuff, since I was cleaning it all out and getting it organized. So I did that, and that video is already up, so you may have seen that, but if not, I will link it below. Those vintage cocktail forks are one of my favorite vintage finds ever, but we also just keep our like reusable napkins in here because they kind of fit in there perfect. So yeah, for the most part, I just needed a little bit of tidying and a little, like some things taken out of there. So now what I call my vintage hoard, it's where I put like vintage things, but also things that I thrift sometimes that I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them yet. So just things have collected in here. Sometimes I have things that I think, oh, I should keep that. I'll use that in a video. And then I don't. So it actually isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, though, because I had forgot that I think last year I'd gone through and I had actually sold some things out of here that I just knew I didn't need or I wasn't going to use. So it actually wasn't as bad as I thought, but I had forgot about this picture though. So that's cool. I don't know why I forgot because I was using it. This lid pissed me off so much. I had this container that I had kept thinking I would find the lid, and then I finally threw the container out like very recently, and then I immediately found the lid and I was so pissed off. This mug it used to be John's favorite mug, and then I accidentally broke it while I was doing the dishes one day. And so I said I would glue the handle back on, but like not to use as for coffee, but that he could use in his office, like on his desk for his pens or something. So it was perfect because I already had the glue out for the shelf. So I did do that, and it's down in his office now, but I broke it like probably almost 2 years ago when it was just sitting in there. And then that thermos I bought at the antique mall. I do want to use it somewhere in the kitchen, but I just think it would look better if I had more vintage thermoses. Like in my mind, I have an idea, so I just stuck it in there for now. I have a lot of different like this. Like, oh, I could use that in a video sometime, like in a vintage recipe video, but I haven't. I'm still going to keep it because in my mind, I'm still going to use it someday. But some things I ended up tossing, like these flowers that I had. They're really dusty, but I had cut them really short now anyway, so I just figured I wasn't going to use them. This cookbook I've had for a long time. I think the reason I put it in here is because it takes up so much room that I couldn't find a place for it in the kitchen because my collection has grown a lot. So it's just been sitting in here for probably a year or more. And so I'm thinking about maybe just selling it, since obviously I wasn't missing it. I do really like it, but I have so many that I don't know. I just don't have unlimited storage for them. And this little like vintage inspired tin has a bunch of like birthday candles that I've thrifted, like that are new in the package. And then those little, I think they were like to stop wax from, it says party stoppers. I think it was to stop the wax from dripping on the cake. I remember using them like all the time when I was growing up. They would always be on cakes. So yeah, I have tons of birthday candles apparently. But I thrifted them all, but they're all like still new, except for these little number ones. I did buy those, I think, at the grocery store, but those are the ones that we typically do use. So I don't know why I have all these other candles, but I just think maybe someday I'll use them. I don't know. So I did end up keeping all the candles. Yeah, we used to reuse candles all the time in my family too. So I don't know, there's a couple candles that I have burned, but then I've kept them anyway to use again. So I have these plain white dishes that I've been collecting as well, because I have an idea that I want to decorate with them, but I need like a lot more before I'll be able to do it. So those are just hanging out in there as well. And then I made these like makeshift shelves in here with these folding shelves from like a thrift store that I found a while ago, because there was no shelf in here, so I didn't want everything to be stacked on top of each other. So I don't know, back here I have a lid to like one of my spice of life dishes that it doesn't fit on the shelf with my collection, but I feel like I should keep it because if I ever go to sell it, it will be worth more. So it's just kind of hanging out there in the back. And then this Pyrex, like it's a limited edition one or something, but it has the wrong lid to it, but it's more like Christmassy, so that's why it's just in there. And then I found these plates. I actually forgot that I had these, but this is like the town that I grew up in, and this church they filmed like a horror movie in the town that I grew up in the 80s called My Bloody Valentine, and this is the church that was in that movie. But anyway, I kept seeing plates from like where I grew up. There's another one underneath with, I think it's a hospital that it's not there anymore, but anyway, I just had this idea of collecting these to maybe make a wall or something. I don't know. So they've just been in there for a while. And then during my Easter, I showed some of these dishes. Well, this is where the rest of them were apparently. So I should probably put those with the other Easter stuff. But I decided I'd have some plain mugs too to go along with my idea. We'll see if I ever end up doing it, but I just decided to stick those in the back as well because I didn't need to use them. I have a bunch of my like spring blossom stuff in here too because I thought, well, maybe I don't like use it as much anymore, but I thought maybe I'll use it in a video, so I just kept it there. And then I have, these are not vintage, but they're like serving trays with these, I don't know if it's like slate or what, but these pieces that fit in the wood that I do really like, but I don't know. I do use them sometimes, I guess. So I have a lot of serveware. So I showed all of the vintage stuff, but then I have other stuff that's not vintage, like this big platter as well. It's probably for putting like a turkey on it or something, but obviously I don't need to do that. So sometimes I'll make like a big charcuterie board and put it on there. And then I stopped to give Marley some food. She's been like eating on the stairs basically 90% of the time now. She's just so weird that she doesn't want to, she just waits until like nobody's looking at her, or like I guess she just feels like she has more privacy on the stairs. I don't know. But I hung the shelf up after everything dried, and this has been a couple of weeks ago, and everything's been fine since, so fingers crossed. So now I was making another HelloFresh meal. This one was really, really good as well, but this is not something I would have made on my own, so we just swapped it for tofu instead of chicken. And then I think the only other thing was it came with like concentrated chicken broth to use, but I just swapped it for the no chicken broth that I use. But it was really, really good. Like I'll definitely make this again, but I would have never thought of making this otherwise. And then right after we got done eating, the next week of HelloFresh came. I don't think I've ever ordered HelloFresh 2 weeks in a row, but when I saw this recipe, I just knew that I had to have it. I'm so glad I did, because this, I think, is the single best HelloFresh recipe I've ever had, and I cannot wait to make this many, many more times. It was so good, and this one actually came with like plant-based mayo as well. Sometimes it'll come with like just regular mayo, and you have to, like, I just use our plant-based mayo instead. But I've had it several times now where it's actually come with plant-based mayo, which is pretty cool. But the other ones looked really good as well. So, but I mainly ordered it so that I could get that first recipe. This one was also so good, and this one came with mayo, but I just made my own like plant-based spicy mayo to have with it, but it was really good. And then they actually gave me like free boxes to give away, but I never actually like use them. I actually have like a code like they give you to give free boxes away, but I never do it because I don't have anyone to give them to. But I don't know, I guess I could put that code in the comments or in my description maybe. I think it probably would only work in Canada though. So I don't know. But yeah, I was really excited to get this. But it's the first time I've gotten it 2 weeks in a row. I like that they just give you like a head of garlic if you need garlic for one or more recipes. But I think I showed this in the last one, but in the very bottom is where they have like the ice packs, and they usually put, well, I'm guessing they would put the meat, but for us it's just tofu and then these like veggie protein shreds. But I love these ice packs. I keep them and reuse them. So they're, even though this is like 2 days since it's been shipped, the ice is still frozen. Like it's barely thawed at all. And just like in the last video, like this isn't sponsored at all. This is just a service that I genuinely like and use, and that's why I'm showing it. They have no idea who I am, but it would be really cool because I already use and love the product. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's good. So it's the next morning. I was feeling really good that I had got all that done in the dining room prior, the day prior, especially that cupboard, because it had been driving me crazy for, like, I would think about it all the time, even though it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. But just having some morning coffee and cuddles with little Marley, she loves this too. And John had finally been home long enough where she had warmed back up to him again, so she had got up on his lap and fell asleep with her head kind of resting on his arm, which was so cute that I had to capture it. So then I just had some egg salad sandwich for lunch, and then I decided to tackle the TV tray. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. So I'd been thinking about what I should do with it. I knew that I wanted to take the wheels off. So I thought the wheels would come off pretty easily, but the wheel part came off, but then this other part was really jammed in there. So I got that tool that I don't know the name of and was able to pull them out. So I have this brown chalk paint like left over. Actually, I have a ton of paint in the basement. That's a project for another day, but I decided the gold part, I was going to spray paint it like gold paint, but I decided to just paint it brown, and one of them was a little bit bent, so I straightened that out, and I just thought it would look a lot better. It's just from age, it was looking kind of shitty. I mean, they're probably from like the 60s or 70s, so it's quite old. So I decided to give that a couple of coats. Looks much better. And then I was going to make that HelloFresh meal that I was dying to make. So we're having that today for our big meal. This is not a meal that I ever would have like put together myself, but it was so good. I can't wait to make it again. But I was laughing at how tiny the sweet potato is, because like here, sweet potatoes, whenever I buy them, are massive. But yeah, this was a very, very good meal. I'm still thinking about it, and it's been like a week and a half. So then I was letting Marley know that we were leaving, because she's usually always has one of us home. So we had some errands to run, so we stopped at the thrift store on our way because we have to pass it, and I found this Betty Crocker cookbook, which is really cool. And then I thought I'd film a little in the grocery store because some people find it interesting. Right away when I walked in, I saw these heirloom tomatoes, which look so amazing, but as you can see by the price, they're a little rich for my blood right now. Hopefully I can find some at the farmer's market, but I actually wanted a beefsteak tomato, but apparently they don't have those, so I think I ended up just getting one of those hothouse tomatoes instead. I was really only in here for a few produce items, but I thought it was interesting that they had meat over here. But I thought I was just waiting for John to come in, so I just happened to notice the price of this salad, and I was in complete shock that it was that much. That's insane to me. And then I noticed the one, like the vegetable one, like without meat in it, was I think $18. And then someone had mentioned that tofu was $7.99 where they live. We have expensive groceries, but our tofu is only $3.99. I don't know if I would be so willing to pay $7.99 either, but $3.99 isn't bad. So we're just looking at the different things. I usually just do a grocery order, so I hardly ever go in the grocery store. So whenever I do, it's like exciting for me to look around. So that's what we were doing. But I think we were getting some vegan turkey and ham. And then this is like how much it costs for like a pack of greens or something. The kale that I buy is from here, these big bags. I think that they used to be $4.99 a few years ago, but now they're up to $7. But you do get a lot in there, so it's actually not that bad. But some of the bagged salads are quite pricey, along with iceberg. I don't know why, but iceberg makes me the most mad when I have to pay like $5 for it, because it's such a basic lettuce. I don't know why. It just enrages me at times, because sometimes it's more than $5 too. So peppers are pretty expensive too, so I usually buy them like in a bag of like multiple peppers. It usually ends up being a little bit cheaper, but not that much cheaper. But I don't know, it's really tough when the bulk of your diet is vegetables, like $6.50 for that amazing looking cauliflower. Super small, half brown, definitely worth $6.50. Anyway, when we got home, I had another cup of that, actually not of that tea because it's black tea. I think I had like a decaf tea, but I love that mug a lot. It's like the perfect size for tea. So I think we just had some tea and watched a little bit of TV before bed. But yes, it's hard when the bulk of what you eat is just vegetables and they're like skyrocketing prices. Although I will say, like, the price of meat and dairy is also really high and we don't have to pay for that. So I don't know, maybe it balances out. But a lot of people seem genuinely shocked at the prices when I show them. So I did read an article that recently that said that the province I live in is like the second highest, only to the north, where they actually have to fly their stuff in the country. So I don't know. So the next morning I was feeling really hungry, which almost never happens in the morning. So I decided to make some brunch with the leftovers from the previous brunch. And John was obviously working because he works from home, so I was bringing it down to him and I could hear voices, so I thought he was on like a call. So I was just standing outside, like wondering what I should do. And then he was just watching a video though, so it wasn't an actual call. So, and I was able to go in with it. So I just ate mine in the living room, and then I was flipping through the cookbook that I got, and unfortunately some of the pages had been ripped out. I actually already have that cookbook though, so I just didn't have the hardcover version. And then I've been cleaning the car out, but it looked like a really nice day, but it was actually still cold. But I had this big bag filled with all the stuff you get from restaurants that I was like, so I just brought some things in from the dash to like sort in the house. So I was able to do that. I was able to throw a bunch of stuff away. And then I am putting away some of the things that we had purchased the night before while we were out. So we got some of these plant-based cheesies, which are so good. They were on sale, so it was like 2 for $5, I think, which isn't too bad. We take these to the movies with us. We were going to go to the movies, and we'd also got these Skittles to take. I'm just going to point this out, just because Skittles in Canada don't have gelatin in them, so they're vegan. I don't think that's the case for all countries, so I just wanted to point that out because I know that someone anyway. And John also got these like nibs, which he actually already got into, as you can see. John has a very big sweet tooth for like baked goods or candy, so Anyway, we got these little mini packs of Oreos. Again, Oreos are vegan in Canada. I don't know about other countries. I assumed they were in all countries, but I don't know if that's the case or not, because someone commented that Oreos were vegan in Canada, so I'm assuming they were not vegan where they live. And personally, I don't care at all. The only reason I'm even saying this is because I don't want people to talk about it in the comments. So we got some Ritz crackers. I'm getting all this kind of snack things because we were planning the next week, but probably in a few days from when I was filming this, to go out, do a bunch of thrifting like every single day for probably 8 to 10 hours a day. So I wanted to just go and get food that we could bring with us in the cooler instead of like going and getting like fast food or something while we were out for 8 to 10 hours. So I had a bunch of containers and stuff. I was going to make up little snacks and meals to take with us. So I think that we were doing this starting like the next day maybe, or 2 days from that. So that's why I was getting it ready on this day, but just did some veggies and hummus. I was going to make hummus, but I ended up just opting to buy some because it was more convenient. And then I got the cheesies and things in bags to take to the theater. It was I think either that night or the next day we were going to the theater. So I just made up some random kind of varieties of different things that we could take with us. Now we would be ready to go because we were going like almost every day in a row. So we'd be gone at like 7 in the morning and not get home until like 5 or 6. So there wasn't a lot of time to do things before or after leaving. So I figured I would just get everything ready ahead of time, and then it would be super easy to get out the door in the morning because we typically have to drive for like an hour or an hour and a half to get to where we need to go. So just figured we'd do that. And then I was going to make some sandwiches like fresh on that morning before leaving. So I had these little reusable like sandwich containers for that. And we didn't end up eating lunch that day because the breakfast was so filling. So for dinner that night, we're just having a sandwich and some cheesies and just watched a little bit of TV. And now we're going to end the video with some Marley. The next like videos that I post will start to be like all of that thrifting. So we're going out thrifting like every day. So I'm gonna film some like day in the life thrifting videos, but then also some thrift with me videos of certain stores. So there'll probably be a lot of that in May. Like it'll probably take pretty much all of May to get them all posted because I'm filming so many of them, but like I'll probably end up posting 3 videos a week, probably, I guess. I think there might be a couple more videos after this one, but yeah. So anyway, stay tuned for that, and thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you again soon.